One district,
heading in one direction.
marching towards excellence.
Our Jackson Public Schools community and our Board of Trustees have been really clear about our desire for a plan of action to repurpose our closed and soon-to-be closed school buildings. Today, we invited you here to announce the launch of our comprehensive request for proposals process and the new Repurposing Initiative webpage on our website. Our primary goal is to revitalize these properties, transforming them into valuable assets that will contribute to the growth and prosperity not only of Jackson Public Schools, but of course of our community and our broader city. We received overwhelming support and interest in the properties. This RFP process and the new webpage will provide a direct avenue for folks to get information about the opportunities for acquiring properties and to submit competitive bids or proposals for our Board of Trustees' ultimate review and decision making. Ultimately, again, I want to stress decisions for how we will repurpose our buildings and properties will ultimately be made by our Board of Trustees, obviously with the advice of our Repurposing Committee, the Advisory Committee, and some of the other professionals that we have. Whether it's repurposing of a school as a community center, a healthcare facility, affordable housing, aftercare, or some other kind of creative hub for our scholars, the vision is to leverage these sites to meet the diverse needs of our residents. Again, not just of our scholars and their families, but the broader communities as well. We have a total of about 33 properties at 17 school buildings that are slated to be available for repurposing or redevelopment, plus 16 pieces of land. We started, as I said, some months ago with the need to optimize our district and to try to ensure that our district is operating most efficiently. We developed the Facilities Repurposing Advisory Committee, and we've been very pleased and very appreciative of their support in helping us just to think about and understand what the opportunities are and to think more holistically and boldly about what the impact could be to our city. Our goal here is not to become the best developers there are in the world. That's not our goal. Our goal is to take advantage of some resources that we have right here in Jackson Public Schools, right here in the city of Jackson, and avail those resources for the betterment of our scholars, families, and communities. Duval Decker has been a wonderful partner to us in helping us to understand the properties that we have in Jackson Public Schools. What's the shape of the buildings? What's the size of the buildings themselves, the property on which they sit? What's going on in the communities around those buildings, so that that can help to inform what the needs might be and how we might plug into any development that's happening in various communities around the city. And so they've been invaluable.
For the Facilities Repurposing Advisory Committee, the work that they've done, being able to provide really valuable input that's representative of the community, making sure this process was going to prioritize the needs of the community, making sure that it included a kind of detailed view in the process that really looked at making sure each proposal, each reuse was going to really focus on the needs of each of the communities where these schools are located. There's 17 surplus properties, and then there's 16 undeveloped properties, and that's basically the land that's available for redevelopment. Those who are submitting a proposal, or in other words, a detailed plan, those plans are going to need to demonstrate 4 key things. Number one, it's looking at project feasibility. So when someone submits a proposal, they need to be able to demonstrate that, or this process is going to be able to review and make sure that the project they are proposing is feasible. And then on top of that, the second thing is looking at the person who's submitting, or the group who's submitting the proposal, making sure that the development team has the qualifications and a track record. And basically to say that what they're proposing to do, that they're actually going to be able to follow through and do it, and they have a track record of having done that. The third thing is financial and organizational capacity. So, we all have great ideas, but outside of those great ideas and outside of our capabilities, it's also making sure, can we actually deliver what we say we're going to deliver, and can we demonstrate that through the plan? And then the fourth thing that this proposal process is going to be looking at is the community benefit and consistency with the goals of that particular community where those schools are located. All proposals or plans are going to be evaluated on a rolling basis using an objective being the operative word here, objective scoring criteria, and then also that the process is streamlined, but yet it has a multi-level review process. So there's kind of 8 things that in terms of what the process includes. The first one is that there will be an initial review. For every proposal that is submitted, there will be an initial review to make sure that it's complete. And then after we review to make sure that all the things that have been outlined that we're requesting, that each proposal has actually included and incorporated those things into their proposal, then we'll be able to move to the next phase of this process, which is a detailed evaluation and scoring of each of those proposals or plans that are submitted. The third thing is that once we make sure that it's reviewed, that it's complete, the next thing that will happen is that the proposer will be notified that they're moving on to the next phase of the process. And then we'll notify the board that we have a proposal or proposals that we're ready for their consideration. And then the board will review. And after the board reviews, there will be an initial vote, but that initial vote is as to whether or not to be able to enter into a memorandum of understanding, allowing whichever project or proposal that we have set forth, that they're going to give them the time to do some additional due diligence, like meet with the community, like go out and do some of the additional work to be able to provide or show or demonstrate that they have the financing and other things necessary to be able to move the proposal forward. And then after the due diligence is complete, then it'll come back to the board for an actual vote of approval to be able to move forward with the purchase and or lease of the property. And then there will be a closing. All of the information is at your fingertips. So if a developer, if a proposer, if an individual, if they're interested in being able to redevelop one of these school properties, every single thing that they need can be found on that website. If you go to it and use that QR code, what you'll find is there's a list of all of the available properties that we just mentioned. You'll be able to see all of the undeveloped properties. So those 33 properties that were mentioned, all of that information is there. You'll be able to click on each one of those properties. You'll be able to find plans in terms of floor plans for it, in terms of photographs of the actual buildings. There's an interactive map that's there just to kind of give you some perspective in terms of where each of the schools are located. There is also proposal guidelines, which has all of the details of the process. Those proposal guidelines can be found there. And also, if you're wondering how you're going to be evaluated, the scoring criteria is right there on the website. So it's no guesswork. If you want to know how to make sure that you submit a really good proposal, all of it is right there. Then the website actually has a way for them to click on it and send an actual email to the Repurposing Advisory Team, and everything that they can't find there, we'll be able to provide that information for them.
Many of our urban school districts are going through a similar optimization or right-sizing process. And we've had some examples to look at. Kansas City is one that we've paid particular attention to. We've actually engaged with the team there on a number of occasions. And one of the things that we learned from them was that this is not an overnight success kind of a thing. While we want to make it as short a process as possible, we've built in some steps where the potential developers can see that we're serious, we want to engage with them in earnest, but also be honest about the amount of time that it could take. This isn't just like buying a house. It's on the website, the website's up, it's available to folks today. So I welcome anyone to please go and check it out. And whether you are looking to redevelop a building or expand your operations or not, I think it's something that our community should see. This is huge for our school district. This is a huge advancement for us as an organization and a huge step forward in terms of our repurposing of properties for the benefit of the city. And so I certainly hope folks will join with us in appreciating the work that's been done and support and encourage all of us and all of our would-be partners in this effort to make some really smart decisions as to how we better support members of this Jackson community. Thank you again.